Okay, so Claire, how do you like the conference?
Oh, it's good. I was at Polish IA Summit a couple of years ago, and it's interesting to see how UX is becoming more mature in Poland. So 2 years ago, a lot of people talking about web usability. Now there are more people talking about things like service design, tangible interaction. So it's good to see it developing.
And how about the venue this year?
It's great, and it's particularly the giant screens, which is normally if I do a talk, normally you put things up on screen and people can't read people can't read some of the detail. But yeah, that's quite an experience being in a cinema.
And how about the presentations themselves? Because it's like half of the second day, so I think you have some thoughts on that.
I actually had to do some work this morning, so I'm afraid I haven't seen very much this morning. But I was here all of yesterday, and no, it's as I said, it's a good mixture. I particularly like the one on tangible interactions.
Some presentations that you liked more than the others?
Well, as I just said, I particularly like the one on tangible interactions yesterday. So yeah,
I didn't hear you. Okay, and our question is: in light of current EU regulation around cookies, privacy in the web and criticism of big data, what are your thoughts on that? On using all this, mobile tracking beacons and so on?
Well, my particular interest is the internet is user experience for the Internet of Things, and it's the origins of ubiquitous computing, that kind of stuff. The intention was to reduce information overload. And what's actually happened as we have more computing devices around us is that we're just pumping more and more information at people instead. And we need to get better at filtering that down. And what's one of the things that's key to doing that is understanding more about the context in which people are at any point and what they might need at that specific point. And to be able to do that, you need to know a little bit more about them. So there's a lot of potential in people sharing more information about where they are and what they're doing and that kind of thing to help get the right information to them at that point, so they're not being bombarded with as much as overloaded. But I think the big problem we have, and it's a problem on the web, it's a problem with relatively simple stuff like people's Facebook privacy settings, and it's going to become an even bigger problem, and that's that we just don't know. Most people don't understand what they're sharing and how it could be used. And that picture of the potential range of things you could be sharing and how it could be used is getting more and more and more complicated. So I think that the big challenge, it's not inherently a good or bad thing. The challenge is in getting people to understand what it is they're sharing and how it could be used, and get them to give meaningful permission for that.
Okay, and one last question: how do you evaluate your work? Is it somehow based on KPIs or some other, heuristic evaluations?
Well, at the moment, I work for a very technology-driven company, and user experience design is relatively new. At the moment, we're just trying to. It's not. At the moment, most of the evaluation is through qualitative concept testing. So although we capture a lot of data, we don't have all the systems we work on are not live yet, so we don't have necessarily a huge amount of data about how people are actually using them. So it's still very much in the concept stage.